Hi everybody, here we are in scenic Glen, Burnie, Maryland. I'm on my way home from getting some of my customers sprayed, and since we are driving right past House of Tropicals today, I thought I'd pop in and I want to have a little chat with the owner about some fish. We will have more on that later, and I want to pick up some calcium-based rocks to continue messing around with my experiments with water hardness, pH, and so on and so forth. So sit tight, let me get inside, and if they're not too busy today, which they don't seem to be, we'll try to get a little bit of videos from inside the store.
Yeah, get that big one.
Yeah, she's huge. Alright everybody, that is Tiny Tawanda. It's a little hard to see with all the glare on the tank. She's 22 years old now. I know she's been in here forever. But that is a true giant gourami. So here we are, we're just walking in the store. These are just display tanks. Again, it's kind of hard to see what's going on in there with all the glare on the tanks and everything. But what we are looking for is right down here. They sell both rocks and wood by the pound. And this is not something I'm terribly interested in. It just looks too unnatural for what would be in my local area. And since this is going to be going into my native tank, I don't want the rocks to look too unnatural. So there's your pricing on it per pound. Got a couple of bins of that, and I have gotten a fair amount of woodwork from here in the past. I really like this wood. $5.98 a pound for it, and then of course you can pick and choose, and they've got everything from little tiny broken bits down in the bottom to, you know, obviously some very large chunks in there you could do some really amazing stuff with. So what I'm probably going to do is go to these bins here. There's one particular type of rock I'm looking for, and I'm going to take a little bit of it home and just start doing some experiments with it. I thought about marble, but I don't think marble is going to dissolve fast enough. We've got this stuff here. This is what I'm looking for. It's called samurai stone, and I know it's calcium based. It's supposed to raise the pH and raise the water hardness, so we're going to take some of this home today and see what that does. We'll just do some experiments with it and whatnot once we get it there. And of course they got a whole mishmash full of whatever kind of decor you could want to slap in your tank. Moving over into the store proper where all the fish are kept. We got all their corals and some of their smaller saltwater stuff down here, while their little micro saltwater fish are over there. A lot of little clownfish and whatnot. Over here is where all their saltwater gets made. If you want to purchase RO water or purchase saltwater or anything, you would be down in this end of the store getting all that kind of stuff. So we'll come around, try to do as much of a tour of the store as we can today. Have some more big display tanks over here. Again, more aquarium rocks and so on and so forth all over the place. Some huge green moray eels. They told me what the price on these was one time, but I do not remember at this point. These have been in here for a little while too.
$599.
$599.
Yep, green moray eel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome looking. Yeah, I guess I could have just looked at the tank, huh? So that's all that stuff. We'll come over here. Got some Betta fish. This is our summertime stuff. This gets closed down depending on the season. This is all our outdoor pond kind of stuff. Water lettuce, so on and so forth. And we got all our varying sizes of koi. And we get into more display tanks. I like this tank. That's all pearl gouramis in there. Now these are for sale, but it is also a semi-display tank. These used to be set up really elaborately, but it looks like they've broken them down into more practical tanks set up for sales rather than display. See, this is more like what they used to look like, more set up for display. And if you really spend some time looking around in this tank, there are so many little fish hiding here and there in the little nooks and crannies. That is a beautiful tank. So we move into all these tanks and we get into oddball stuff. It's a lot of goldfish, a lot of larger stuff, a lot of really aggressive stuff. I'm not going to spend a lot of time walking around down here. A bunch of Pimelodus pictus catfish. And as we get down towards the end, we get into where all of the plants are kept. So I've been thinking about getting some new plants for some of my tanks. I've just been recycling all the ones I've got over and over again. They breed and propagate really easily, so it's always, you know, simple to just take plants out of one tank and put them in another. But at some point, I might like to have something a little different, mix it up. Even if it's just different species of the same type of plant, or different cultivars of the same species, I should say. You know, stick with stuff that works in my tanks, but get other stuff that mixes it up a little bit. So lots and lots of choices for the plants. They even do stuff that's already sort of pre-grown onto mats. Stuff that you can separate and divide. And of course they list everything from medium light, low light, high light, etc. Makes it nice and easy. Love those garfish. I'd love to get a gar. They just get so huge I'd only be able to keep it for a very limited amount of time before I'd have to get rid of it. So this side used to be where all the goldfish were kept, and it looks like there's still a lot of goldfish on this side, but it looks like we also have a lot of South American cichlids on this side too now. So let's just walk on down here. Those are electric blue Texas cichlids. Always wanted a Texas cichlid too. I think they're absolutely gorgeous. The problem with those is that they just get huge. More red belly piranhas. Never really been interested in piranhas. Salvini, I like those. And then we get into all the feeder stuff, the little shrimps and the brine, and that's all brine it looks like, brine shrimp. And then we get into ghost shrimp and all that kind of stuff here. Here's alligator gars that are a little bit bigger. These are Florida gars, they're not alligator gars. There's a difference between them. Beautiful fish though, absolutely love these. I don't know, maybe someday I'll get one, put it in my 125, keep it in there for a year or two until it starts outgrowing it. I don't know how fast they grow. It's a nice medium-sized arowana. More piranhas, more big plecos. Some discus that are not for sale. And then that brings us around to the main body of the store. And it looks like they're really busy and crowded today, so I will say this is a new viewer I just met today. Had a little chat, and now she's in one of my new videos, so yay for her. She's already subscribed to my channel. Alright, this aisle's not too bad. So I get a lot of fish out of this aisle. This has got all of their little I don't want to say nano fish, but some of their smaller stuff is found in this aisle. And they do separate all their tanks in groupings by what types of water they go in. Either they're hard water fish like the African cichlids, or they're more of a soft and neutral water fish, or they are the marine fish. And this whole section here, these are all the marine fish. It's really impressive. I'm doing my best to keep the customers out of my videos, and it's getting more and more busy as the afternoon wears on. It's getting towards about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. I know this is anything from a complete tour. I'm just trying to give you an idea of what's going on in the store. One of these days I'll get together with Mike, and I'll arrange to come down here before the store actually opens in the morning, and we'll be able to come in and get a much better look at what's going on. So this aisle down here is fish I can keep. This whole length of this aisle is fish that I can keep. And then once we get into the center aisle here, this is all African cichlid stuff. And then this whole aisle out here is also African cichlid stuff. And I never really spend much time looking at any of the African cichlid stuff just because my water is not suitable for that. I've never really been interested. And then all of this stuff down here is the continuation of all of their salt water, but it gets into more of the inverts down at this end. You'll see a lot of more of the weird crabs and shrimp and stuff like that down at this end. I really wish I had time to go around tank to tank and show you all the different tanks and everything that's in here, but it would just take way too long. They have over 700 separate systems, or separate tanks I should say. They're not all on separate systems, but they do have 700 plus separate tanks. This is another aisle I like to get stuff from. We've got lots of saltwater fish in this aisle, and we've got lots of angelfish, guppies, South American cichlids. They even have some live bears, other than the guppies, of course. These are red vampire swordtails. I don't know if you've ever seen them before. I've seen these at other stores, and I absolutely love them. So I've never seen them here before. Now that I know they have them, maybe we'll be looking at getting some red vampire swordtails. Awesome fish. A lot of Bolivian rams, German rams. Actually, I don't see any Bolivian rams now that I'm thinking about it. These are all the German blue rams. So hard to get any good views on any of the tanks with all the glare and everything. So I'm going to wrap it up. I do need to still talk with the owner while I'm here today. These are one I wouldn't mind bringing home at some point. Golden nuggets. And they've got some amazing angelfish. I saw one earlier that was just labeled as a miscellaneous areas. I really like this one. That is just a miscellaneous veil. It's $20 though, so it's not cheap, but it's a really good looking angelfish. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Let's see if we can scoot through here. Excuse me. And we'll come around here. This is the section of the store that deals with their snakes and reptiles, turtles, all that good stuff. And of course you get all your habitats and cage stuff and tanks and so on and so forth. More display tanks. Come around this end of the store and we get into where they keep all their filters and plumbing and all that good stuff. And that's the checkout line where we came in. So I'm going to say thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. Make sure you're subscribed. I'll see you real soon in the next one.